Hey everybody, Mark from Northeast Bass Fishing. How you doing? Well, if you guys saw the short I did on the classic bait, the Mann's Baby -1, still popular with a lot of guys. A lot of people enjoy that, throwing this bait, and it's a discontinued bait. I still see them out there um, on eBay and other places, so I don't think it's impossible to get. Unfortunately, Mann's, I don't know if Mann's is done for good. I know that their website is down. I think they've kind of retired from the business, but if you guys have never thrown this bait, now this is old. It's in the pack still. It's one of the few I've got in a pack. The rest you see the picture of, but this is like, I don't know how many fish in my lifetime I've caught on this little crankbait. But it's a small 1/4 ounce crankbait. It's going to dive about a foot deep. It is a great bait for fishing like flats, fishing over weeds. If you want to get just under the surface, it's got a great action. It's got good rattle to it. Some of the rattles actually are more of a knocker. Some are more just like your traditional rattle. I think that probably has to do with some of them being newer than other ones. But you know, I've got a lot of these old colors. I'll show you some of them here. But if you guys have used this bait and you know about it, you know how effective it can be. It's just a fantastic, you know, bait for covering water. It's just a great option. But let me just show you a few of the, like, I don't know if I'm gonna remember half of these colors, but this one that's in the box, it just says, I think it's Pure Passion. So I don't know if I don't see one like this that's not in the box, so might as well take it out and throw it this year. And then they started actually putting red hooks on them even before. So some of these I might have put the red hooks on, and just going through this the box of them I have, like, some of the hooks are, you know, not in the greatest shape. So if I'm going to throw these this year, I'm definitely going to have to do some hook upgrades. But I'll just give you like a good overview of the bait. So there's a lot of cool colors. You can see that small lip. It's only going to dive about 12 inches. They always put a bigger hook on front than on the back. And the hooks, the stock hooks, were not fantastic. I would change them out occasionally, or if they would get beat up. But, you know, I'll just kind of go through the patterns that I see here of kind of like whatever category they'd be in. So there was some like a crawfish pattern types, and then I'll move them out of the way so I don't tell you about them twice. Always loved the crawfish patterns that they had. So this might be, I don't know if that's the same as that one. That's a little different. It's a little different. But you can see some of those crawfish patterns, some of the red crawl ones, a couple of those. You can just tell the ones that are newer and not as beat up and don't have the hook rash on them and the hooks aren't all rusted out. But some of these, just going through the hooks, definitely need some TLC if they're going to go back in the water again. Let's see. I always liked these ones, like these, like, I don't know if you call them perch or bluegill pattern ones, bass pattern ones. These were always very good. These ones right here. Those were always very productive for me, those type of colors. Like this guy here. This was like one of their newer ones, like that perchy type bass pattern. And like this guy, they're definitely newer. And you can tell the rattles are, like, the rattles between that are different than the rattles in that. So it's almost like this feels like a different material on this one than this one. So I'm sure they probably changed the way they made them over the years. But let's see what else we got here. Just some random colors, with light blue on it. It's kind of neat. As I said, it didn't matter really what color of this you threw, you would catch fish. Some of the bait fish patterns, the white ones were always good when that water was a little dingy. So with a little chartreuse on it. What I'll probably do is some of these I'll just take the hooks off and the O-rings off and just clean them up. They're a little dirty. But the paint jobs actually have held up pretty good. So whatever paint they used on these, it's, you know, for all the years of throwing these and with the hook rash on them and some of the hooks getting rusty, it's held up pretty well. This was always one I liked, that color right there. And as I said, I do see them on eBay. Some of the prices are a little ridiculous, but you can find some that are a little more reasonable. And one of my buddies, Mike, said that he sees them in some stores. So if you see them and you haven't tried it, grab it. But that was always a good one, that black with the chartreuse. Got a couple of those. A little bit of orange there on the belly. That was a good one always. Any of these chartreuse and blue, they're always productive. That little blue, and but there was a few like that, like these. I don't know what they call that. It might have been the Elite one they called it. I don't know. What does it say on the box? This says Baby -1 Elite series, so they probably had a different series that was this, you know, just, it wasn't as smooth, and it kind of had that different rattle. I do not remember what the heck they called it though. These, I bought these a long time ago. I don't know how many years this has been discontinued, but just show you some of these cool colors. This one here, this bone one, this was always good. That was always a good color. And the dog's gonna start barking the minute I start doing this, as I anticipated. Nice bright colors there. Good old chartreuse. You can see it's all beat up. I caught a lot of fish on that one. And I think I showed you these ones here, ready? I think I showed you those. This one was always a cool one. The chartreuse with that purple back, that was always very productive. The orange on the belly. All right, that's good. Let's see. There's some more of these like bait fish type colors. These were always good. I mean, they're all the color. I mean, you know, these weren't an expensive bait back in the day. You could get a bunch of them. They didn't go bad. You didn't. I mean, unless you lost one to a pike or something. But you know, the coloring. You know, you can see all these years later, and the coloring is still good. You know, even after using these for years, the paint jobs on them are still solid. Now I do have. Oh, here's another one, blue with the chartreuse. I do have. Now I appreciate one of my subscribers telling me this was another version that they called the 4- square bill that would get down a little deeper, and I had them in the same box. And I remember when this one came out, I liked it too. I don't have as many of those. I don't know if they kind of stopped making them. You know, there's another Baby -1. I could put that with those guys. But I do have like a few of them here in that 4-. So I appreciate that. Let me know what this was called, because I could not remember. I've got about 6 or 7 of those. And I do have, oh, that's a Baby -2. It's kind of a cool color. Another one of that chartreuse and white was always good, and that's that 4-. So I only have a few of those, but I figured I'd show them to you anyway. That's another one out there. If you Google it, you might find some out there. I think the best place I saw them available was eBay. And as I said, some of the prices are okay. Some of them are a little. But you know, when you're going with discontinued baits, guys are always going to jack the price up when they're selling their own personal stuff. But I'll tell you, this was a great bait. And you know what? This one's going to come out of the pack for the first time ever. Who knows how many years ago I got this? Take a good look at it. Might as well use it. And you can tell that's a new one. It says Baby -1. I don't think the other ones even say that on the belly. I didn't see any other ones that say that, so you can tell it's a newer one. Mann's Baby -1. Pure passion. It's got all that flake on the top, that purple and silver flake. Chartreuse belly. That's a nice. I should be throwing this. And they did start to come with the red hooks. As I said, the stock hooks are not fantastic. I often changed them out. I can remember when my mom lived in Saugandog up in New York, throwing this around, killing them. But you know, if you hooked 50 smallies, like 15 of them would jump off. A combination of the fact that the smallies up there go crazy when you catch them, and another reason is the hooks were not super. But you can put you get some, you know, hooks that are a little more tacky on these. And I just going through these, like I said, I definitely will upgrade some of these hooks, because I'll definitely be throwing this bait this year. I've eyeballed a few of my local lakes where I think this would really produce well. But that's the Baby -1, the Mann's Baby -1, a classic bait in my opinion. You can throw it on casting equipment or spinning. I always threw it on just one of my crankbait rods with 10-pound fluoro. You know, when fluoro became a thing, before that it was mono. But you know, 10-pound light mono on a casting on like a 7-foot to 7.3 medium rod. You don't want to overpower the bait. It's a small 1/4 ounce bait, but it would cast fairly well for a small bait. It would cast pretty good. But I'll tell you, if you have a lake that has a lot of rocky flats or you know, submergent weeds where you've got, you know, a foot or two above them, running this over the top of it, this is killer. This is killer. So if you guys have thrown the Mann's Baby -1, you know how good it can be. So that's the last one I've had in a pack that I took out. But you know, if it's something that interests you, if you've never thrown it before, you see it out there, you see it at some flea market, you see it in a tackle shop, it's probably not that expensive. As I said, on eBay, you never know. You gotta kind of search around and see who's selling them for what. But I did see ones that were like 3 for like 20, but which is not terrible. But it's a great bait. It's a great bait. It catches a lot of fish. A great way to cover water. And like I said, you're not fishing real deep. You know, this thing is only going to dive down about 12 inches. So you actually see it going, and you see it's almost like fishing topwater. I can remember seeing some smallmouth just come up and inhale these baits, and you'd see them coming and just destroy it. But it's a fun way to fish. If you've got, as I said, if you've got the right conditions, you know, like I said, shallow flats, rocky flats, you know, submergent weeds where you've got that foot or two above them, and you run this across, and it's got that nice wobble and rattle. You know, you'll do really very well. So if you guys have thrown the Baby -1, let me know how you made out with it. If you guys are, you know, some old school guys like me and you've got them laying around, I'm gonna get these out now that I don't remember the last time I fished these, but you know, just preparing for this video, and I was thinking about, you know, this lake and this lake right here, these would probably be pretty good. You know, I'm gonna clean them up. Some of these hooks are gonna get changed out. They're definitely got a lot of rust, got a lot of rust on them. Change them out, put some better hooks on them, clean them up, and be ready to go for this season. So that's it, guys. That's the Mann's Baby -1. If you know, you know. And hey, if you've thrown that 4-, it was a good one too. I didn't, you know, throw it as much, or obviously since I only got 6 of them, and you know, a bunch of those other ones. But this is obviously, you know, going to run a little deeper. It's that square bill. But these were fun too. In the right place, you got a lot of wood. Clanking these off wood, you can have a lot of fun. But they were just all in that same box together. So now I'm going to clean that box out. You can see all the different spots where the baits were with some of those rusty hooks, and just clean some up. They're actually, I'll tell you, for a bait that's, gosh, I don't know, 15 or more years old, I don't even know. They look pretty good. Even the ones with some of the hook rash on them, they're, you know, the paint jobs on these held up very well, considering. So I was just talking to my buddy Pete from Stoneman and Son Lures. I said, Pete, can you get that old Baby -1 body? And, you know, he showed me one that looks pretty much the same thing. And I might have him paint up some perch patterns for me and some bass patterns and bluegill patterns for the season, because I think that would be killer. But that's it, guys. That's good. That's it. And based on the responses, guys remember this bait. They like it, know how effective it is. And as I said, for covering water, it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat. You want to cover water with a small finesse crankbait, the Mann's Baby -1. You could do a lot worse. You could do a lot worse. This thing catches fish. I always, back in the day, had one of these tied on. Always had one of these tied on. There wasn't a lake you could fish and not catch them on it. And like I said, if you fish like lakes that are not super deep, this is an excellent option. Excellent option. So that's it, guys. I figured I'd show you that quick. I know guys appreciate classic baits and seeing them and talking about them, but you know, if you've got them, get them out for the season, clean them up, put some new hooks on them if they need it, and go out and have some fun. Let me know how you make out on it. If you're new to the bait, you've never heard of the Mann's Baby -1. Mann's was one of the biggest bait companies back in the day. I don't know I know that I don't know if they're completely done forever. You can still find their baits. They have a lot of, you know, classic baits that people used, the crankbaits and soft plastics. Back in the day, like when I was, you know, growing up fishing, that was one of the big companies out there, Mann's Bait Company. And unfortunately, maybe they've retired from the business, which would be a shame. Should be a shame, because this was a great bait. This was a great bait. Mann's Baby -1. And the 4- was nice too. If you like throwing, I mean, they were making square bills back then too. Square bill's been around for a long time. It's just a finesse square bill. That's it. So I thought I'd show that to you guys. I would love to put links here for you guys to find them, but as I said, just Google search it like I did, and they will pop up on eBay. I did actually see one before that was like a tackle shop type thing, but when I clicked on them, it showed the baits, but when I clicked on them, I don't know if it was, you could actually buy them. They might just still have them on there, but I'm sure if you search around, you could probably find a couple that aren't ridiculously expensive, and you could give them a try, because it's a great bait. It's a great bait. Caught a lot of fish in my life on this bait, this little guy right here. And as I said, you can use it on casting if you prefer casting. Throws pretty well for a 1/4 ounce bait. And, you know, or you could use, I've used them on spinning setups before. I just kind of prefer throwing it on the casting. But a light line, you know, 10 pound, you don't need anything bigger than that. And, you know, a nice medium rod. You don't need a medium heavy. Stick with a medium and just cover water. Just cover water. Especially, like I said, you've got a lake with a lot of shallow, you know, shallow flats with a lot of rock. This is a great bait. Smallies. I think I've caught more smallies in my life in this than largies when I really think about it. But that's it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed that. So that's the Mann's Baity -1 classic bait. So I hope you enjoyed that. As I said, if I could put links, I would. But if you're really interested in them, just Google search them. But thanks for watching. Please like and share my video. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon on YouTube. Mark out.